Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm back. It has been a really long time since I recorded. You have stumbled across Hero Born Stitches, my YouTube channel, where I talk mostly about cross stitch, some knitting, some quilting, might sneak in occasionally. For all of you who have just found me, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. For those of you who are back, welcome back. I am sorry it has been so long since I have recorded. I have intended to do it for the past 4 weekends, I think. Um, and everything has just completely gone to pot. So it is Tuesday, the 26th, I think, of November, right before Thanksgiving. Um, and I figured it was past time that I go ahead and update my stitching and everything for you. So, yeah, I guess we can get started. So I think I've got like a life update for you. I'll try not to ramble on too long, but anyone who watches my channel on a regular basis knows that that's really hard for me. I like to ramble on, probably overshare more often than not. Life update. I've got a fair amount of stitching to update you on. I didn't really count the whips, but I want to show you the whips that I have. I'll talk about haul a little bit, but I'm not going to really show it to you because it's haul, and it's honestly the amount of haul that I have accumulated since really over the past month plus is a little bit ridiculous. What else? Probably talk a little bit about plans. But the first thing that I need to do is last time I recorded, I was celebrating reaching 250 followers, and I had a giveaway for a $25 123 stitch gift card. And I am way past overdue sharing that with you. So the winner of that gift card is Harmony Peel. I'm going to tag you down below. But Harmony, if you see this, when you see this, please send me a message. You can email me, or you can just message down. You might not want to, I don't know. I'm trying to think about that. I'm not sure I'd want to put stuff down below, but just get a hold of me. My email account is herobornstitches at gmail.com. You can send, I don't know, can you send, I'm rambling already. Just get a hold of me. I will get you your gift card. So congratulations. That's fantastic. Since that happened, I've creeped up a little bit in followers. So I hope to be having another one of these again soon. When I reach 300 followers, that's my next goal. It'll be a $30 gift card to 123 Stitch. And I'm going to probably keep doing that for a little while. I think I might have finally figured out, hopefully, how to kind of set up my stitchy kindness thing. So I'm going to be playing around with that a little bit. I'm not sure I'll get it started before the holidays, but it would be a great thing at the holidays, but I'm not sure I'll have the time, frankly. But yeah, so I think that's all of the business administrative stuff that I need to take care of. I still not feeling fantastic. So yeah, I guess we'll start with life update. I'm rambling already. Sorry. Just sorry. Oh no. So I'm feeling absolutely much better than I was even last time I recorded. Still seeing more specialists than I would like to try to figure out what is going on or what went on. I've got 3 referrals to KU, University of Kansas Medical Center. I've done a telemedicine call for one of those. Still waiting. I've got one of them on the schedule, but not until March, and I'm still waiting for a call on another one. I've seen a local specialist, and I am scheduled to have an upper endoscopy in a few weeks because they are checking for some random bleed, I guess. I really, like I said, I'm feeling just a ton better. I just have some lingering anemia that they can't figure out the cause of. My iron levels are fine. Here I go oversharing, but my iron levels are fine. My vitamin B12 is through the roof for reasons that nobody understands. And so they just want to do a scope to try to make sure we're not missing some kind of a bleed someplace. On top of that, I also have my left carpal tunnel scheduled for a week before the upper endoscopy. So I will be wrapped up again here. I'm really excited to get it done though, because since I had the right one done, the numbness in the left one is driving me nuts. It's like I feel it all the time and I know that it's there. So I'm excited to have that done. And hopefully it won't delay my stitching or impact my stitching as much, because this is my hold hand. I am ridiculously right hand dominant. You might as well cut it off half the time because I can't do anything with my left hand. So that's like really my hold hand, not my stitch hand. So hopefully that will not impact anything a whole lot. Work is work. I don't know. Busy. It's that time of year. I teach. It's the end of the academic semester. We have another one of those crazy semesters at where I work, where we only have 1 week after Thanksgiving break, or fall break as they call it, but Thanksgiving breaks. So students waited a really long time. Faculty waited a really long time to get to fall break. We have the whole week off. And then we have a week of regular class when we come back, and then finals week. So the students will have completely forgotten everything that they know by the time they come back, and trying to get to finals will be a challenge, but it is what it is. I've had just a million meetings. Trying to get caught back up at work has really impacted my stitching time, and that is what in large part has delayed this video a lot. I sat down to try to record, thought about recording. I shouldn't say I sat down. Tried to record about a week after I did the last one, and I realized I'd only stitched on 2 things and not really very much, just because I had been working a lot. And so I kept telling myself I need to go ahead and get some more, who's going to who's going to do words are hard today. Who's going to tune into a video that I have 2 whips. Let me show you my 2 whips. Sorry, I kind of hate drinking while I'm doing this, but my mouth is getting dry. My mouth, nah. So I started really thinking about stitching, and then instead of stitching what I should have been stitching, I started a whole lot of new things. Let's see, I want to say 1, 2, at least 3 new starts. Have a finish, or a kind of finish for me, an almost finish. I don't have any fully finished objects. I still need to do my October one and a November one, but I have plans. I kind of know what I'm going to do there. But yeah, so I started doing that, but I think that's why I have I started trying to get my stitching caught up on. Not that my list is so long, I'm not going to get it caught up, but enough so at least I had something to show you guys. But I think I finally got there. I got there really several days ago, but I have not found the time to sit down and stitch. As you guys can see, I'm back in my dining room. The lighting in the guest room is just not good. And it has been just rainy and gloomy here for the last 4 or 5 days. And the sun is out today. I'm thankful for that. But the backyard is a muddy mess. I was talking on a Zoom call on Friday, talking about about maybe filming in the backyard. So I'm not fighting the light issue, but like I said, it's been gloomy and rainy, and then it's been a muddy mess. But I really would love to film in my backyard someday, because I have this very cool little fairy tale castle playhouse in my backyard that the people who lived in this house a very long time ago built for their daughters. And it's not little, really. My husband's 6'6", and he can stand up in it. Has 2 stories, has a turret. It's really something. So maybe I'll find a picture of it and try to put it up here. I don't know whether I can, but if I can, I will find a picture and put it up here. Because I just thought that would be kind of fun to film with that in the background, but didn't get there. So that has kind of delayed me a little bit. The rain and wanting to film outside and not being able to do that. And then also with the upcoming holiday, of course, families coming in. My granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, has allergies to dogs and cats. And of course, we have dogs and cats. So lots of cleaning and trying to defer everything, make sure it's as clean as possible, as dander-free as possible. The couch cushions are in the washer as I'm recording this. I even went out and bought a new vacuum, heavy price tag vacuum. But I was shocked how much it was getting out of the rugs. We do have hardwood floors through really the whole house, but lots of rugs. And I was shocked how much it was getting out of the rugs, even after I had vacuumed them thoroughly with my old vacuum, which is not a cheap vacuum either. But so that felt really good. So to know I can get that stuff out. It'll be an interesting Thanksgiving, though, because, and this, like every time this is a light issue, because it's still like every time I put something light and like white-ish in front of the screen, I don't know why, it seems to want to adjust. So pardon the weird lighting. But one of my Irish Wolfhounds is in heat. And so we are having to keep her separated from our unneutered male, who is her half brother. I keep telling her that's her brother. That can't be her boyfriend. I keep saying that similar things to him, but we've got the dogs split up. So half inside, half outside at all times. And so I don't know how that's going to happen. With Thanksgiving dinner and all of that, they're not small dogs. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to brainstorm and figure out what I'm doing there. So hopefully they weren't sneaky and decided to make puppies when I was not watching, before I caught them trying to make puppies a few days ago. So, yeah. So yeah, that's really about life. My mother came in for a night. She's spending the holiday in Casey with my brother, but she'll be back through. So we've got lots of family, lots of things going on. I'm really in the mood to decorate for Christmas. I have a lot of Christmas decorations. I have purchased a lot since the last holidays. So I'm really excited to kind of get it all decked out. And yeah, so that's just what I've been doing. I don't know, been laying around, working, trying to rest, doing lots of different things. So I guess we will go ahead and get to stitching, since that's probably why you turned in, not just to listen to me ramble. So let's start with temperature stitching. So for temperature stitching, what I do is I have taken 10 whips and assigned numbers to them, 0 through 9. And then I usually am looking on Saturday morning for the high temperatures, the projected high temperatures for the week. I just pull that off on my phone. And then I take the last digit of those high temps, and for the whips that correspond with that high temp, I go ahead and do 100 stitches in that piece that week, with the goal of getting them all to 1,000. And then when they're at 1,000, I will either switch them out and switch another whip in, or if they're close to finish or something that's a priority, I will go ahead and keep them in until they're finished. So I have been doing that, and I've been tracking that, and I'm really behind on it, just like I'm really behind on all of my stitching plans. And I kind of got to this point because between my round robin, gridiron grind, the whip into shape challenge that Jason the Runner Stitcher has been doing, was doing, he ran some time ago, a while ago, really. I think it was like the first weekend in November. What else is, and Great British Baking Show stitching. It has all really, what is the word I'm looking for? It has very much piled up on me. So I thought that would be a good thing. I think I said in the last video that was a good thing, because then I had all these things to choose when I felt like stitching, but it was really, really kind of put me into decision paralysis. I could not figure out what I wanted to stitch and what to prioritize. And I didn't want to do the oldest stuff first. I tried to make myself do the oldest stuff first, but that was not happening. I just wasn't getting anything done. So I kind of looked through the list, and with temperature stitching in particular, I was amazed by how much holiday stitching I had, specifically Christmas themed holiday stitching. And I know I love to stitch that stuff in December, and my dogs are getting ready to howl any minute. So I can just hear the whines starting. So if they break in, you might hear that. Sometimes the microphone filters that out though. So anyway, so I was amazed by how much holiday stitching I had, and wanted to try to save that for December and focus on things that were not Christmas themed. And so that kind of whittled things down for me a little bit. So I have been really, for the most part, focusing on holiday stitching, temperature stitching that is not Christmas related. And with the Great British Bake Off stitching, I have been honestly trying to finish some of the low hanging fruit there. The show is over. It's not growing anymore, which is good. The person who won the whole show, I owe her piece an ungodly number of stitches. She did so well. I mean, I have stitches like every week for her that I owe, and she did so well that I think it might finish off the piece, and I might need to do another one. So I'm just trying to get some of the ones off my list as far as that goes. So temperature stitching. We're back to temperature stitching again after I rambled on for I don't know how long. But yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3. I think I have 3 pieces out of temperature stitching that I got to out of my pile here. So the first one is the Elizabeth Burcham sampler. And this is what it will look like when it's done. This is one of my very, very old whips from a very long time ago. I do not think I have a picture. I will go back and look. But if I have a picture of where it was last time you saw it, I will put it up here. But basically, this was all done with the exception of I needed to do this over 1 lowercase alphabet here, and then anything under this line. So there was a saying that is supposed to go on this, and why I stopped on this years and years and years and years ago is because, I mean, years ago, is because I realized that I did not have enough room for the entire seam. So that just kind of stopped me in my tracks, and it has been sitting doing nothing. And it is for my sister. I have three sisters who stitch. They all stitch, and my mother also stitches. And so many years ago, we decided that we were going to do this exchange, and my mother organized the whole thing. And every year we would have one piece that we stitched for one of our sisters or our mother, and then we would exchange them. So we would all have a cross stitch piece from each of our sisters and our mother to hang on the wall kind of together. So my sisters were very good and they got them all done. And I am the only one who did not get things finished because this piece stopped me in my tracks. Unfortunately, my youngest sister was on my list after this one. And so I need to figure out what I'm doing for her and get that done. But as you can see, I am almost done. I just kind of made up a saying for the bottom. I wanted it to have something to do with time, and I wanted it to have something to do with distance, because this sister lives like 12 hours, a 12-hour drive from me, and I don't get to see her nearly often enough. And of course, there's a lot of time that has passed since she should have received this. So as you can see, I am almost done. I just need to finish that line across the bottom, and then I want to put some initials on it, and then it's done. So if it gets called one more time, I can't even tell you how many times I stitched on it. I just kind of grabbed it and was just like, okay, this is non-Christmas. We will go ahead and get this finished. So yeah, just kind of made up a saying down there and finished the lowercase alphabet. I think what I had done, I know what I had done, even though it was a long time ago. I did the over one uppercase alphabet and started questioning whether I was going to have enough room on this fabric to finish the entire thing. And so I skipped ahead. I counted down, skipped ahead, went down to that bottom little checkerboard border and went, yep, not going to have enough room. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with how it's turning out. I'm putting her initials and my initials on it, finishing the bottom, maybe do like make up a little motif, little hearts or something for the other side of love, but then it will be done. It can go to the framers. I can get it out to her, and I will feel really good about that. So if this is called one more time, it will be done. It will be finished. So I'm super happy that progress was made. I am really hoping it gets called next week, because we have 1 week left in December. And like I said, I wanted to stop trying to do non-Christmas stitching, since I have been focusing on non-Christmas stitching, especially temperature wise. I wanted to try to stop doing that, kind of cut that off at the end of November and hit some of those holiday pieces. And I just hope that this gets called one time so I can finish it off without cheating. Even if it doesn't get called, I will probably finish it off. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Or I should say, when it does get called, even if it's in December, I will probably finish it off because it just needs to be done. The next piece of stitching that I worked on that was temperature stitching was Extraordinary Birds. This is the Lola Crow Sal. I should probably say before I move on to that, I do not know who designed this. This was in an Antique Samplers and Needlework book. I have a couple projects out of there that I am working on. And it is on some mystery linen, just with a single color of DMC. And I don't even remember the color off the top of my head. It's 8 something. I want to say 839, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, so Extraordinary Birds is the next piece of temperature stitching I worked on. If you watch Floss Tube at all or have not been under a rock, you know that this is what it will look like when it's finished. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. I was doing a very good job staying on top of this sal until I wasn't. And then once I wasn't, it was a problem. Excuse me. Because when I get behind on sals, it is the death of me. It really, really is. So I moved it into temperature stitching when the sal was done. So this is by a design by Lola Crow, the most recent stitch along that she did. And this is where I am at right now. I am on release 10, the lovers. And what I did, since you've seen it last time, is I put like the gray and the red in these birds up there, a little bit of gray and red down here. And that is really what it was. It was called, I want to say, 2 times since I recorded last. So I do have a fair amount of work on it. I've done all the back stitching as I go, which is good. So I don't have all of that at the end. But I know that there is a huge release, the last release that fills up that little frame over there. This is one of these projects that I just love. Absolutely love this project. But I never really think about picking it up at this point. So I am hopeful that through temperature stitching, it will get done. So this is just with called for DMCs. Let me put it down and pick it up one more time, just in case you didn't see me do that before. So this is on some kind of, I want to say it's Zweigert. Yep. I see that orange stripe. Zweigert Smoky Night, Stormy Night. It's not vintage. It's just something like that with just the called for DMCs. I just really wanted to get the recording done, so I didn't make very many notes for myself. So I am not 100% sure I'm going to be able to tell you what all these fabrics are. I should hopefully know the artist. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, so that is the second piece of non-holiday temperature stitching that I did. I didn't do any holiday temperature stitching, so I'll just say that to start with. And the last piece was October Sky. It is another very old whip. It is by Elizabeth Designs. Probably started this back in the early 90s. This is what it will look like when it's done. I believe I have a picture of it. And this is what it looked like last time you saw it. It got added into temperature stitching after something else came out. And it was really kind of embarrassing how close I was to being done with this and have let it sit for so many years. It needs ironed terribly. So what I did is I started this zigzag satin stitch border, and it really only had 2 times that it was called, which is 200 stitches. But because it was satin stitch and not a full cross, I thought I would do 400 just because that's how I like to do that usually. But I got to 325 and I was like, that is enough, because I don't know what the count of this linen is. I love the color. I don't even know how I found this in the 90s, because anyone who has stitched for that long knows how difficult it was to find any kind of colorful, interesting linen back then. But it's pretty small, and it has, I mean, it's a linen, so it's got little slubs, and some of the threads are thinner than other threads, and that made doing this zigzaggedy border situation really painful, honestly. It is being done by it's a Water Lilies, I believe. Java is the name of it. And I love the variegation. I think it looks absolutely amazing, but it was a pain in the butt to do. So I got almost 2 whole sides done with the 325 stitches. And I think that's fair because it really was more than a couple hours worth of work to do it. just because the counting and trying to make sure things were lined up was very difficult. So after I got done doing this last night, I realized I had not looked for all of the charms. There are 4 charms that go on this. There's a rabbit, a good sized rabbit that goes right here, a ladybug, a bee, and something else I'm not remembering. There's also a couple of treasures and some beads. I do have the beads. I have the treasures in my cart, along with some beads that I need for another project that I knew I needed charms and beads for, which I'm sure you will be seeing whenever I film again. But I went to go try to find the charms for these, and I need your help. I need your help. So the charms are by Jupiter, and that's the name. It's like by Jupiter exclamation mark charms. And I have the numbers and all of that. I can find a website for by Jupiter exclamation mark charms, and I can find the charms on the website. There's maybe one of them, maybe one that I didn't find. But I really think I might have found them all on there. But they are a wholesaler. They will not sell to individuals. They don't retail. And it said on the little catalog that there is a list of the retailers on the websites, the stockists, but there is not a list of the retailers on the websites. And it doesn't seem to matter which stitching supply store I search, I cannot find these charms anywhere. And I don't know, maybe the company is defunct and the website I'm pulling up is like really old, but I don't know why it would be down. And I think it was a 2025 catalog. So they do have numbers and customer service, and I'm going to call them. But in the meantime, if you guys know anybody who stocks by Juniper charms, by Juniper exclamation mark charms, please let me know, because I would love to get those to get this finished off. It's super, super close. There are really like 3. This is little. This is very little, this whole piece. There are 3 sections. There's a small section up here, and then this section, and then a section underneath it, and then this section. After I do this zigzag border, and then beading and charms, and then this will be done. So again, super happy to have the progress on that. Looking forward to seeing this all done. This is so pretty. So, so, so pretty. October Sky, like I said, I don't remember who the artist is. If I can find that, I will put it down here below. But the chart has definitely seen better days, but I do not restitch things. I will never restitch things. So if anybody is interested in this chart, and I'll let you know if I can source by Juniper exclamation mark charms. If anyone would be interested in it when I am done with it, I am more than happy to ship it off to you. I don't save them. I don't save charts, just like I don't save puzzles that I finish. And I generally don't save books that I'm done reading because they just tend to accumulate. So I'm always happy to pass those on to people. So that is all of the temperature stitching. Like I said, I have a lot more that I need to do. Right now, there are 2 pieces that are non-Christmas holiday pieces that have been called over the last 2 months since I've been behind. Probably more than 2 months. But that is Seasons, A Year of Celebrations. Can't remember off the top of my head who the designer is on that. And then Nature's Window, that chart that I found in the needlework casket. So I have, I think I have 7 days of stitching to do on Nature, and that'll get it a long way, which is cool. And I think I have 3 days to do on Seasons. But when I get those done, and I really plan to get those done this week, so whatever is called for next week, again, I'll just focus on the non-Christmas stuff, and then, through the first, and then kind of switch over to the Christmas stitching. So hopefully the goal is to get all the non-Christmas stuff caught up by the 1st of December, at least for the temperature stitching. Now, I will tell you that some of the seasonal Christmas stitching that has been called, that I'm behind on for temperature stitching, it will be finished, and there is a replacement sitting behind it that also has stitches that need to be done on it. And some of those replacements are non-holiday, but I'm not worried about that right now. I can't worry about that right now. I have it all tracked. I have a spreadsheet. I've got it all tracked, but I'm just trying to get done what I can get done. And part of me wants to, by the time I get to the end of the year, anything that I'm behind on, just kind of start with a clean slate. Part of me is being stubborn. We know I'm stubborn. And kind of keep it on there. It depends. It depends on how much I get done, I guess, between now and the end of the year. If I am at a decent spot, or down to just like a couple pieces, even if it's a lot of stitches on a couple pieces, I will probably just continue. But if I have a huge list right now. I don't even want to count the number of stitches I'm behind, but yeah, so there's that. So the next stitching I want to talk about is the Great British Bake Off stitching. Like I said, I'm just kind of picking low hanging fruit there. So I need to apologize right away. Jason, I'm sorry. Again, I know I told you on Friday night, I'm sorry for the spoilers. I think I had people like closing off their ears saying, no, I can't watch. I can't do any of that because she's spoiling the Great British Bake Off for me. So I will say, honestly, I didn't even think about spoilers or the fact that I'd be spoiling things for anybody until I started seeing other floss tubers not mention names because they didn't want to give people spoilers. So if I ruined a surprise for anyone, I am very sorry. I do not even remember the names of most of the people, but I'm just going to stop saying names now because it doesn't even really matter at this point, I guess, whether I say names. But so one of the bakers on the Great British Bake Off, I had assigned her Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane. And this is what it would look like when it is finished. And this is a new start, so I don't have what it looked like last time you saw it. I have been dying to start this piece forever. And I was trying when it came up and I had stitches on it for the Great British Bake Off. I kind of wanted to get some older stuff, I was behind already by the time it came up. And so I was trying to get that stuff finished off. Real quick, I'm going to keep going back. I'm sorry. So like I said, Mystery Linen, this is DMC, then with that one Water Lilies that's on there. Okay, done with that. So yeah, so I had really wanted to start this, a bit itching to start this forever, but I had not allowed myself to do so. And then finally it was on Halloween and I thought I am missing my window to start this piece. So I got a good start on it. Now this is on the called for fabric that I cannot remember the name of off the top of my head, but the called for fabric with the DMC. When I bought this fabric, it was so hard to find. Like everybody seemed to be out of stock of it, out of stock. And I think this is 32 count. And it was a piece it was enough, but just barely enough. So I did a center start on this, although I kind of didn't want to because the top part of this chart is really full coverage. But I needed to do a center start because I just was not sure where I was at. So this is the border. This is the side. This is as far as this goes over here. And so because I did a center start, I am pretty confident I will have enough fabric and I have a little bit more leeway vertically. on this piece of fabric. So I know it's by Stitch Me. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it is stunning and I love it. I want a full yard of this. I need to because there's so much Halloween stitching I want to do too. So this is where I got, really just worked with 3 different colors. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this chart, when you look at this chart, it looks like it's full coverage, but all of the orange is really the fabric, which is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This slowed me down though, I have to say. I started it and I ended up ripping out almost everything that I did because this little tree, and there are a number of them, is an absolute bear to stitch. It's so easy to get off count on that. And so I think I started actually with this little tombstone right here, and then it was kind of counting off of it. And I did a fair amount of this. I had this whole fence done up here. And then I decided to bring this path down, and I realized I was off someplace when I brought everything down. So I went back and checked and ended up having to rip out most of the tree, rip out all of the fence. I eventually did get back and get to it, and then went in and got the tree finished also. Still need to redo the fence. But this was all of the stitches I needed on this. And so I know there was 500 for when she was eliminated. And I think there was 125 or something else like that, maybe 200 from something else she did on the show. But so this unfortunately is going to go away for a little while I'm trying to catch up on other things. But I am enjoying it thoroughly. Honestly, not looking forward to stitching another one of those trees. And I know there's several of them. I just need to be super careful. And I think once I have other reference points, it will help too. But I'm thinking of moving this into temperature stitching. I have other things that should be in there too, but just because I'm really enjoying it. And it would be nice to kind of get some more work on it. I will probably do that piece for halfway to Halloween also when we get there. So that is the first Great British Bake Off stitching. And these really aren't in the order that I stitched them. They're just in the order that they're in the pile next to me. There was another person who was eliminated quite a while ago who the work I had assigned to her was my choice, just to kind of leave it open. So in case if somebody got eliminated early and I really wanted to work on their piece a little bit more, or just leaving one open. And so the only points that I had on that baker were her elimination points. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with that my choice, because give me a choice and I will sit and overthink it for months on end. So I finally decided that what I wanted to stitch on was the Princess and the Pea from Hickory Hollow. This is my second oldest whip. It was in temperature stitching. I got some good progress on it. This is where it was last time you saw it. So you can see some good progress just from temperature stitching. But I had 500 stitches and only 500 stitches to put on it. And it was just a really good opportunity to pull this out and put some more work in on it. So that is what I did. So I finished up the word princess up top. I haven't done any of the back stitching, but I started the P for the Princess and the Pea. I did realize while I was doing the P that I am off someplace on her hair. Don't know where I am. That was stitched so long ago. And really, I need to go in and do the back stitching on her face and her hair. And I will figure that out then, but it's definitely nothing that is getting ripped out. So after I finish the P, the P-E-A, the word P, and put the and the in there, I'm going to do the back stitching around the words up top and do the back stitching for her hair and her face. And then everything that I have finished so far will be done and back stitched. And then I just have the rest of the quilts to finish at the bottom. So yeah, this is like, I bought this literally when I was in high school, and I graduated from high school in the 80s. So this has been around for a very, very, very long time. The fact that it is seeing the light of day and getting progress is amazing to me. And I'm seeing an end in sight also. So this is just some off-white 14 count Aida, and I'm just stitching it with the called for DMCs. So this is really my first counted, if you guys can believe this, this was my first counted cross stitch project that I had picked up. And it is a rather ambitious project for a first project. I just loved all the colors and the quilts and all of that. So yeah, so I made some good progress on that, which was very nice. And then the last piece of Great British Bake Off stitching that I did was the custom full coverage piece that I had Heaven and Earth Designs chart out for me. I'm just calling it Poppies. It doesn't really have a name. It is an AI generated image. I have no idea who did it. I just saw it probably scrolling through social media someday and fell in love with it, kind of saved the picture, and decided I loved it enough to want to stitch it. So I worked with Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs, took a little bit to get the chart in enough detail to do it justice for counted cross stitch full coverage, but she did the custom chart for me. So this is what it will look like when it's done. And this is where it was last time you saw it. This was really my first attempt at full coverage. And it is on 25 count, easy grid Lugana with just DMC. I am doing 2/1. And yes, it is thick. It is carpet-like, but I am really liking the coverage I'm getting. So I decided to keep doing that. This baker had been eliminated pretty early on, and I had a fair number of stitches to do. I think I had like over 1,000 stitches to do on her. Maybe not since you saw it last time. I think I had 700 or some since you had seen it last time. So what I really did, there is an ungodly amount of, is it 939? It's probably 939 on this. And I think that is all that I did. I just really focused on that because I knew I could get a bunch of stitches done if I really was just doing block stitching. So I'm trying to kind of clean up this diagonal a little bit while I'm doing it. So I think I will do, oops, you can't see that. I will do whatever 939 I need to do, and maybe kind of do a stair step diagonal to kind of get this cleaned up a little bit, go in and do some of the confetti and then keep moving across it. So yeah, I think I told you everything I needed to tell you on that. So that is it for the Great British Bake Off stitching that I have done. Let's see, what are we at? We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 whips so far. So maybe I'm not in the doghouse having a video with 6 whips. I have more. So there we go. So the other stitching game project thing that I was doing that I made some progress on was Gridiron Grind. It was a game that was put together by Kim Hollenbach. So the Spartan Stitcher also, and it is taking American football and people are doing it all sorts of ways. Sometimes people are taking stats, which is what I had been doing. Sometimes people are just taking points and assigning stitch counts to them and then following an American football team. And that is going to tell you how many stitches you owe on that project. So when I started doing that, I was doing a Heaven and Earth Design holiday ornament. It's called Santa at the North Pole by Scott Gustafson. And I just got hung up in all of the purple and gray in the sky. And I just couldn't, I just needed to walk away from it. At the same time that that was going on, I was seeing Six Portals by Rose Catherine Kahn everywhere and knew I really wanted to do that. And so I decided to switch and make that my gridiron grind piece. So I have started that. So I should say before I forget that the Great British Bake Off game was from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She is the creator of that game. So with Six Portals by Rose Catherine Kahn, this is by Betsy Artist, charted by Paine Free Crafts. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Huge piece, definitely my largest piece. I don't even know what I was thinking. So this is what it will look like when it's done. Absolutely stunning. I am doing them all in one piece because I definitely have the wall space. So I'm going to do them all in one piece. This is where it was last time you saw it. And what I have been doing is I've been kind of taking a page from Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, who is also doing this piece. Now, she just did scattered stitches all the way across for all of the portals. So she could work on all of them. And now she is going through, and currently, I mean, through the end of the year, her goal was just to get 300 stitches on each portal. And then she's going to put it away and then work on a portal a month and have a stitch goal for a portal a month. So she's going to keep working on all 6. I'm sure I will keep working on all 6 also. But I didn't really trust myself to do just scattered stitches because I have miscounted so many times before. So what I did is I picked 2 colors in the top 10 rows of stitches of each portal that were pretty dominant, that I knew I had enough stitches to go all the way across with. One was more dominant than the other, but then one was kind of a supportive color. So I did that for the first portal here, with the orangish yellow being the most dominant. And then it's kind of a brown as a secondary one, just kind of helping check myself. And then I had moved on to the second portal just barely. I think last time I showed it to you guys, and the most dominant color there was 310, just, basic black. And then there is a yellow that you can't see, probably. You might be able to see it a little bit, which is kind of the supporting color there. So I am just about halfway through with the black on the portal, the second portal, the top 10 rows of stitches. So I figured that would give me a good base, and clearly I have hanging threads all over the place. This is just a piece of black that I had extra, and instead of winding it back on the bobbin or putting it back on the floss drop, I just stuck it there because why not? And I also have threads up here from starts that I need to weave in. So it is a hot mess, but this is where I got. Now, it does not look like it is a lot of work. It really does not. But this is on 28 count even. This is 28 count easy grid Lugano. And it's a full yard. You can do this piece on 25 count on a full yard, but you do not have much room on the border. And I wanted a little more room on the border. So I went to 28 count. So I was stitching on this like a crazy person on Friday. On Friday, we had a Zoom call for the Stitching Connection, Jason X Stitches, that round robin group that he had put together. And we had a Zoom call scheduled for Friday where people could just sit and stitch and talk to each other. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to stitch while we were sitting and chatting. So anyway, so we got in there. There was a little bit of a snafu with getting everything hooked up for the Zoom call. And 3 members of my Connection J not three, two other members of Connection J were on the call with me. So it was Tina, Tony, and Mark. Hi, good to see you guys. I'm going to go ahead and tag Mark down below with his, because he has started a Floss Tube too, and he is a delightful human being. So you should go check him out if you have a chance. So between the 4, 5, 6, 7 of us, we sat and we chatted for 3 hours easily while stitching. And I decided to stitch on this piece. I had 3 things sitting next to me and of all the crazy things to stitch on. And I did 204, 206 stitches or something like that while sitting and talking on this. And it doesn't look like I made any progress at all. So I'm just using called for DNCs, of course. You know, what else are you going to use? It's full coverage. I'm thinking a little bit about trying out CXC threads. I don't know. I'm not there yet. But so I did get some progress on this for the gridiron grind. I have a huge number of stitches that I owe on that. The football team I am following is the Kansas City Chiefs. I am a Kansas girl. The stats that I recording, I know I have talked about in previous videos, and it probably isn't super interesting to anybody what stats are actually determining my number of stitches. Let it be said, though, that I have a ton. I have an absolute ton that I owe on that piece, and I think that's probably good because that is a piece where a ton are owed. So where you need a ton. I mean, it's like almost 1 million stitches. It's a little bit under, but it's close enough where we will just round it off to 1 million. Okay, so I did finish my part in the red robin, in the round robin for the stitching connection. We are waiting. We've had a couple of my connection mates, my fellow night owls, have switched their pieces partway through. So we are everybody is almost done. I just felt this need to get my piece finished because I'm so far behind on everything. And I just had this really huge anxiety that everyone was going to be waiting on me. So I decided to go ahead and focus on that and really get that finished. And this was one of the first things that I stitched after I recorded last time. I stitched on this until it was finished. So what I am doing is, it's Modern Folk Embroidery, Winter something, and I cannot believe I do not know the name of that right now. But this is what it will look like when it is done. I am doing something entirely different with it, though. I am doing it on Fiber on a Whim, 36 count cream and sugar. This is where it was last time you saw it. And I am using, I believe, Cottage Garden sampling thread in Noel, which is, as I've said before, a very aggressively variegated floss. Now you might have seen it here and been thinking, what is she doing? She is crazy. That looks not very good at all. There was a method to my madness. Let me just say that. And I think it looks amazing. So I will be very happy with it when it is all done. So this is almost exactly 1/4 of the stitches. There is, I think maybe I just did a couple stitches down this way to get this started. Clearly I left a thread hanging for my fellow night owl to get started. And I know it looks kind of weird because I didn't finish off the box around that little reindeer at the top, but that is because that is part of somebody else's diagonal. And so it does look a little odd maybe, but this is half of the stitches on it. So we have this like very interesting like Christmas lights, undulating Christmas lights effect along the top because of the variegation. But as you get further into the piece, that variegation is really sort of all over the place. I had so much fun stitching this, and it just is adorable. Absolutely love it. One of my round robin night owls, she is worried that she's not going to stitch it the right way. And I cannot tell her enough, and everybody else enough, that I want them stitching it however they stitch it. Of course, it's variegated, so you really have to do one. It's a lot variegated, so you really have to do one stitch at a time, a full cross. But other than that, stitch it however you want, because I am going to love seeing how this variegation plays out with people's stitching choices. But I am super excited to get this sent off and to get my teammates' piece to work on for that. So that has been so much fun. I cannot thank Jason enough for setting this up. I know it was not an easy task to do all of that, to coordinate that, all of the Zoom calls that he keeps scheduling, just giving us opportunities to talk to each other and connect. It has been the most amazing experience. I would highly recommend. I hope he does it again. Even though I doubt my group will be finished, I will take on another one for sure. I hope he does it again next year. And if he does, join it. Just don't overthink it. Just join it. You will make the best friends, have so much fun connecting with everybody, really building that stitching community. It is just, I can't say enough. It is just amazing, just absolutely amazing. So after I got that done, if you guys have watched old videos, you know that I started making bags because I need one more thing to do. So I had started making bags, and I had put, for my last fully finished object, I had put a cross stitch on the front of the bag. Well, I started trying to figure out what I'm putting my round robin piece in when I send it out to my teammate, to my Stitching Connection mate. And I had the project bag I have in it right now, I absolutely adore, but it's Halloween and that seemed wrong. So I knew I wanted to make a stitching bag for it. And while I was sitting and thinking about that, and probably shopping instead of stitching, I ran across this freebie, this cute freebie. It's an owl. And I was just like, oh, that's perfect. I need to put that on a bag to put my round robin piece in because, like I said, and I've said a number of times, my Stitching Connection, we've dubbed ourselves the Night Owls. So that just seemed perfect. So I immediately decided I wanted to do that. So I pulled out a piece of, it's just 14 count Ada. It has a little bit of modeling in it. I don't remember what it is. I know it's a Y-guard. It's not a very big piece. And went to see how many of the DMC flosses I had prepared, I had already. And there were like 28 colors in this little thing of floss and blends on top of that. So I actually had to go shopping and go buy some floss. But I stitched on it like crazy, like one weekend. There's a lot more in it than you think, but I stitched on it like crazy, did all of this in one weekend. Now, it looks like it's finished. It's not. It's not quite finished. There is some backstitch left. I have a little bit of backstitch to do in the eyes, a little bit of white to do in the eyes, and then there is some backstitch around his wings and talons. But other than that, it is done. Now, after I did it, and while I was doing it, I mean, clearly it was a pretty quick stitch. There's a lot more stitches in here than you think. But I'm just getting a thing that my battery is running low. So hold on. Okay, I'm back. My computer was really low on battery. It really just cut off on me while I was grabbing a cord. So yeah, I'm back. Anyway, so we're talking about this little owl guy. Yeah, so I do not know. I need to sit down and look at the name of the artist on this, but isn't he just adorable? So I need to finish off the back stitching, which I should have done a long time ago. And it's not that I hate back stitching, because I really don't. I think it can be so effective and make it look just great, but he already looks pretty great. And the back stitching is funny. Like, the artist of this really was very deliberate. I mean, clearly they had something they were going for with a piece this small to have 28 colors and blends, and even the back stitching. They have back stitching that you use 2 strands for of one color right next to back stitching that you use 1 strand for of that color. So the back stitching is definitely taking a minute, but I need to get this finished. And when I do, I will put it in a bag, and it will be one of my fully finished objects because I am behind on 2. So yeah, this is my almost finish of everything that we have done. So that will be finished. I will take some pictures if I have to send it out. I will try to remember to take pictures if I have to send it out for the round robin before I record again. And hopefully I will record before a month has passed. So that is the plan. Anyway, I did mention that I did have a couple new starts, which is kind of ridiculous because I had so much stuff I was behind on anyway. I mean, I know Witch's Hollow is technically a new start. And this is was a new start also. But it was small, right? Now, there were really a lot of stitches in that for being small. It's pretty dense. Anyway, but there were a couple things. I just couldn't help myself. I love to start things. So the first thing that I started was something I showed you guys last time. It was this kit, Angel Moonlight. It will look like this when it is done, by Ankicolman Designs Studio, something like that. Just this kit that I bought just because I thought it was pretty. It is just on white Aida. I thought of switching it to like a navy or a darker Aida because so much of this is dark, and I was just afraid that I wouldn't get good coverage, just really calling for 2 strands of floss. So it's just whatever was in the kit that I was using. But I decided, I looked at the size of it and I knew I'd have to order in another piece of Aida. And so I just figured to go with it. You know, it's not anything heirloom or anything like that. So I just figured I would go with it. So I had started it. And I will tell you guys, I started on the entirely other end of the fabric, and you probably cannot see, I don't know whether you can see yeah, you can. I know I can. The little things there. So I had measured it and thought I was not giving myself overly generous margins because, you know, with a lot of kits, you don't end up with the best margins in the world for the pieces. And I thought I was doing okay. And I did a fair number of stitches, again, just in 939. I just live in 939, I think, but DMC 939. But I had done a bit, a fair amount, not a ton. And then I looked at it and I was just like, I don't think I'm going to have enough border hair, so enough margin. So I measured and I literally had like 1/4 of an inch on the other side. So I ended up ripping all of that out and restarting. And I just restarted on the other side of the fabric for reasons that I can't begin to explain. So this is what I got done. I don't have a picture of what it was at before because it was a new start. So all that I did was 939. I just was itching for a new start. And I have to say, the chart is awful to work off on this. It is, I mean, it is small, it is dense, and it just, I need to try to get it into Pattern Keeper or something. Not that it's not doable the way it is, but I'm either going to have to make a working copy and start marking stuff off or something, because it is really easy to get separated from what you need to get separated from. When I really looked down and measured, they don't give you more than 1.5 inches on this piece of fabric for this. And I think I might be a little over 1.5 inches on this side already. So it is going to be tight. It's going to fill up most of this piece. And it's not, I mean, it's not a small piece of fabric. But so it is just, like I said, 14 count DM, 14 count Aida with whatever came with the kit. Now, I do think the piece is really pretty, and I think I will like it when it is done. I have no idea why I started it, because I have so much that I need to be working on that is not this, but I just felt like starting it. So sometimes you just have to let yourself do that. So I did. So I'm sure it'll be coming out again, because I did really enjoy stitching on it. I just need to see if I can get it into Pattern Keeper. And if not, maybe make a working copy of it or something. I don't know, because it is a little frustrating. So just like a whole lot of one color up in the corner that I started. And the things that you're not seeing there are almost all black. So like 939 and 310 heavily through the entire piece. So that new start. And I had one more new start that I knew I was going to start as soon as I got here. So Becca is stitching. She finished just recently a Riola's kit, and it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. And it had me hunting for Riola's kits almost immediately as it was starting to come together. And I knew I wanted to do a holiday one because I love holiday stitching. And there were a number, and I knew I wanted to do it on Black Aida. And there were a number of holiday ones on Black Aida, which I liked, but the one that I liked most was Christmas Serenity. And as you can see, it's not on Black Aida, it's on White Aida. And I looked at it, and it was the one I was most drawn to. And I knew I really wanted to do it on Black Aida. And when I looked at it, like there's a lot of glow from like the candles and the fire and even from the window outside. And it just reminded me of what we used to call, when we were growing up, Christmas magic. How like I loved, and I still love to this day, just sitting in a dark room with the Christmas tree and the lights on. If there's some candles on or the fireplace going, that's great, but just no exterior lights really. It's just one of my favorite things to do. Just sit there. I think it's so peaceful. And this piece said that to me, but it's on white, and I wanted to do it on black. So I ordered the kit in along with a piece of 14 count Black Aida. So I started this, like literally the mail came, I opened it up, and I started it immediately. Now it is one of their wool acrylic blend kits, so it is different to stitch on. Now this is where I got before I made myself stop and put it away. So Becca just did a little kit review for it, and it was very helpful. And if you're considering buying a wool acrylic blend Riola's kit instead of stranded cotton, watch the review. It is very, very helpful, especially because, I mean, it's fuzzy. It's just one strand and it's fuzzy, and it does not lay nearly as flat as stranded cotton does. And as I was doing it, I'm thinking my stitches are looking like crap, and there's no way I can fix that. So hearing that Becca had that same issue was very nice to hear. It was very reassuring. But good thing. It's a good thing. Go watch it. It is still very, very satisfying. So this is really part of the tree, and next to the tree a little bit over here, I needed something other than the greens. So this here is really 3 different greens plus a blend with one of the greens and another one of the greens. And I needed something other than green just to ground it a little bit. Now I did learn from watching Becca's video that supposedly, and I'm going to have to check it out, you can get a Saga file for this, or you can get a PDF to put it into Pattern Keeper or Markup RX. And I think I'm going to do that. And not that, I mean, it is charted well. It is on a color chart. It is really relatively easy to stitch. It's just that there's a lot of very similar colors, especially in the tree. And it would be very nice to be able to mark them off and really have those features that you get with Pattern Keeper or something like that. And I do have Saga, and I don't have any Saga files, and I would love to give it a try. So I am thinking about getting the Saga file for this. So this is, I don't even know how many stitches this is. I mean, it was off a paper chart and I wasn't counting, but that was my start. And just putting it on 14 count black Aida with the rest of the kit materials. I am enjoying working with the wool acrylic blend, and I will do other ones. I know that, well, it was a little bit unsettling when I first started though, because it does not lay flat and it is kind of fuzzy and it just takes a little while to get used to, but the impact that you get is really, really good. And I am so excited to see this piece on black Aida. So this will go away till December 1st, but then temperature stitching, non-temperature stitching, on my list of things that I should be working on or not, it will come out. I can guarantee you it'll come out because I'm really wanting to stitch on that all the time. And I'm just holding off a little bit. As soon as December 1st hits, I will get there. So yeah, so those are all of the whips that I have worked on. Like I said, I do have a lot of haul because when I'm not stitching, I shop for stitching. And it's not just, I haven't bought yarn for, oh, I take that back. I did the other day buy a little bit of cotton yarn to make something else entirely. I don't even need to talk about that. I have bought some fabric, even though I haven't touched quilting or anything like that in a hot minute. But a lot of what I have bought has been stitching stuff. I have finished kitting out some patterns that I had purchased. I think I have shown those to you previously. So I got fabric in for that. There were some early Black Friday sales that I took advantage of, and I bought more fabric. Ended up buying a full yard of fox and rabbit. Something else, something I didn't have, flannel flower. Bought a full yard of that. A couple other pieces, patterns. I have lost track, really, of everything that I have purchased since I recorded last time. And I'm feeling kind of ashamed about it, actually. I have so many stitching supplies and patterns and things like that, but I just could not help myself. I didn't even really try. I mean, if I'm being honest. It was a good deal. I knew I would use everything eventually, so I just jumped. Floss, patterns, fabric, you name it, I bought it. Some of the things that I'm really excited about that I purchased was, oh my gosh, why can't I remember the name of that right now? Cross Stitch Studio, I believe. They have those Harry Potter library charts, and Kim Hollenbach she was talking about starting on Trelawney's library, and she had shown it, and that was really the first time I had seen those charts. Excuse me. Ooh. Oh, I went down the wrong pipe there. And so I went and I looked, and I found Snape's chart, Snape's library, and McGonagall's library. Excuse me. Oh, um, almost immediately. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, which one I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to start one. I love Harry Potter. Um, I will rarely buy Harry Potter things because I don't like to fund J.K. Rowling's, but I have to sometimes. And when I do, I just make equal donations to another cause to help kind of counteract some of the stuff that she says out there that I just find to be really problematic. But anyway, I don't know whether she gets any royalties from the cross stitch start charts. She just might. I don't know. I will make the donation anyway. But that's just beyond the point. So I was trying to decide between the three, and the three, and I was really between Snape's and Trelawney. Character-wise, I like Snape more, but visually, I really liked Trelawney's more, and so I was kind of between the two. And my goal on this, I know I will be starting this pretty soon because I clearly need another big full coverage piece. I really I let's be honest, I'm going to start it, and I know I'm going to start one of them. And I was just intrigued because Kim said she does this crazy, like, extreme cross country thing where she does like all of the 310 in the chart before she does anything else. She just does all of the 310. And part of me thinks that's crazy because if you get off a little bit, then that causes problems. But she does it on charts that have so much 310, so much black, that you really can check yourself as you're going down. And, you know, she was planning on doing Trelawney's library that way, do that extreme cross country. And I really kind of liked that idea. And I thought that was like kind of fun and challenging. And I like to challenge myself. So I thought, yeah, and these would be really, really, really good charts to do it on. And then once you have that whole black framework, since so much of the chart is in black, you can kind of choose where you want to work from there. If you want to pick another color and do that, or if you want to start working diagonals or whatever. So that was kind of my plan. And I shared it with my round robin buddies. And one of them said something about Dumbledore's library. And I was like, what? I didn't know there were more. And of course, there's going to be a Dumbledore's library. What was I thinking? So I went and I looked, and there's a Dumbledore's library and also a Lockhart library. And so I had to purchase all 5 of them because I can't make up my mind. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I think I'm going to do all 5. I'm not sure where I would have time to do that. So I'm still trying to figure out which one I'm going to start. Dumbledore's library is visually very stimulating to me, like Trelawney's is. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I did purchase all those charts. Cross Stitch Studio had a really nice sale going on. So I purchased them at 50% off. So I'm trying not to feel too bad about that. Stitch is So Beautiful has a wonderful sale going on right now too. And there are several charts there that I've also had my eye on. So I will probably end up picking up some of those too. And I already have enough full coverage charts that I haven't started, but I know I probably will at some point. So it's retail therapy. Other things that I did, and kind of like moving into plans moving forward. So I definitely am going to keep doing temperature stitching, sort of like I explained previously, through the rest of this month. And we're almost done with this month. I'm going to try to focus on non-Christmas holiday pieces for temperature stitching, and then switch over on the first to the Christmas pieces. And not that I can't work on the other pieces, I just want to try to get the Christmas ones caught up first and done first after the first, since I've been avoiding those. Still working on Great British Bake Off, trying to get some of those like low-hanging fruit. Ones that I don't owe a ton of stitches on, try to get those done and off my list. Continue to work on Gridiron Grind, that big 6 portals piece. I know I won't get all those stitches in anytime soon, but I'm still going to work on that. And every week I end up adding to the number. So that will be going on for a while. Andrew, the runner stitcher, has finished and ran his marathon. I still owe my piece for that stitches. So that is still on my list of things to do. I have 2 fully finished objects that I will get done. I don't know whether I will before I film next time, but those are still on my list. And so I've got all of those things. Looking forward, though, it's that time of year where everybody is starting to talk about their plans for 2026. Like I said last time, I'm trying to keep mine pretty loose. I know I will continue to do temperature stitching. Gridiron Grind will still be going on at that time. I know Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, is going back and doing old seasons of Great British Bake Off as a game. I'm a little bit intrigued by that. I'm not sure I'm doing that yet. I guess I can join it anytime because she's just going through all the seasons. So that might be a fun thing to do. So I'm considering that. I know I am doing Jacob's Sal, Modern Folk Embroideries 2026 Sal. I have purchased that. I am doing it on a piece of fox and rabbit salt bush, 28 count. And I think the color of floss that I'm using, I thought about pulling some overdyed or like buying some overdyed floss for it. But I decided against it. So if you haven't seen it, this is what it will look like when it's finished. It is amazing. It is called Little Acorns. Absolutely love it. There's a horizontal version also if you would rather do it horizontal, but I really like the vertical version. So I'm doing it on that fox and rabbit 28 count salt bush. I have a full yard of it anyway. It's going to be mammoth, and I know it's going to be mammoth. But instead of buying all of the overdyed floss, I think the color that I bought like a bunch of 816, I think, DMC 816, just like a really nice dark red. And then I coffee dyed it. Now, because it was dark to start with, it's very subtle even with the coffee dye, but it did put a little bit of variegation in there that I'm really liking. So I'm going to do that. It looks, I'm not sure anyone will notice the variegation other than me, or if you get up on it real close, but it smells amazing from the coffee dye. So I will just enjoy it while I'm working with that. I did also go ahead and press that button and did sign up for the 2026 Heaven and Earth Design Sal. I might have talked about that on the last video. I can't even remember. I did choose Fairy Tale by Dragon Muse, the crop of this piece, because it really, I was considering several of the different charts, but I just love the architectural detail in this. And I think I will just really enjoy it. Now, I was not going to do this. I was not going to sign up for that Sal because I don't need another full project, a full coverage piece to work on. And although I liked some of the charts to choose from, I wasn't completely in love with any of the charts. There were other charts that I liked better. So I kept on telling myself I wasn't going to do it. But as I'm sure you guys know by this point, there is an exclusive Amy Stewart chart if you finish one page of the chart for this. And that's like, now the dogs, that's like 8,000 stitches, something like that. I can do that. And I haven't seen, hold on, hold on. Hi, it's me again. I told you to hold on. I didn't realize you would be holding on for so long. I was recording and my husband started talking to me. So I hit pause and then I did that thing that I am so prone to do and forgot to hit record again and was sitting there and talking. Luckily, there was not very much that I had to say. So um, as I'm sitting here in my little stitchy corner, I figured I would just finish off my thought. So I was talking about the HAED SAL, the 2026 HAED SAL, and the Amy exclusive Amy Stewart chart for getting a full page finish done. So I just have this huge fear, huge FOMO that if I don't sign up, I am going to absolutely adore the Amy Stewart chart because I love so much that she does and then miss my opportunity to ever be able to stitch it. So I figured it was well worth the $20. I know I could do a full page finish without an issue. And I do like the chart. So I pushed the button, I went ahead, I signed up. I have it all kitted up. I am doing it on 20 count Ada, 2/1, and I'm really looking forward to getting that started and having that released. So, yeah, those are really the only things that I'm looking at planning on in 2026 right now. Um, yeah, like I said, trying to keep it pretty loose. So, I think I have a very unstable surface right now. So you're probably shaking around all over the place. So I think I have rambled on for long enough now. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you've made it this far, thank you extra much for having made it this far. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving for anyone who celebrates. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please drop me a line, drop me an email, put a comment down. I always love to hear from people who are actually watching me, learn more about them, learn what they like stitching. It is my favorite part of this crazy floss tube journey. So, again, thank you. I will try to record again before a month gets past me. And I will try to be stitching also so I have things to show you when I do record because I probably won't record if I don't have enough to show you, or if I don't think I have enough to show you. So I am really washed out against this color of background. So the color of my walls for now, anyway. So anyway, um, like I said, thanks, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.